Welcome to the Violet Flame Global Shift, everyone. My name is Ruth. Today we're going to be looking at the immigration protests throughout the USA, the UK, and Ireland. So welcome. Thank you for joining me today on this YouTube Live. It is a rainy day, and I have a lot to discuss with you all today. But first, how are you? I want to set the stage as everyone comes in. Hello, Joe. Good morning. Good morning. As everyone comes in, I want to set the stage here. If you're watching on Rumble, thank you so much. Feel free to go into the description box and click the YouTube link if you want to leave questions. And as well, please give me a thumbs up as a subscribe. And if you're interested or you know of anyone who's interested in a private reading, my information is there. All right. After this, we're going to be doing the private extension update. And this is the Ascension update, clairvoyance for the end times. And I really want to take some time to ask Spirit, where are we in all of this chaos? So I don't know about you, but the Ascension symptoms for me have been crazy. I don't know if you all are dealing with unexplained illnesses, exhaustion, and I'm also wondering if it's a result of these protests, as well as some of the conflict going on in Iran, Israel, overseas. So there might be a lot of heaviness. Our bodies might have a hard time healing. I know I've been doing a lot of detoxing without even trying. And so I'm just really curious, and I want to ask Spirit in the extended, what's going on with the ascension process? So if you remember, join me there. If not, I do have a special that I'm going to be doing tomorrow at noon. Monday at noon Eastern time. I'm going to be doing a quick poll on Iran and Israel, the Iran and Israeli conflict. And we're going to be asking Spirit, do we need to know anything? Do we need to be in prayer? Do we need to be manifesting peace for this earth? Of course, we always do. But is there anything we need to know about this conflict so that everything flows right? Do we need to be spending special attention there? Good morning, Richard. Good day to you. Good day. Thank you for being here. All right, so let's get started now. I want to share a little bit about the protests that I am aware of. We had a protest about 30 minutes from my house. The protest was in Culpeper, Virginia, and it was very peaceful, except that I'm not sure if it was an anti-protester or who it was, but a man did drive into the crowd of protesters at a No Kings rally in Virginia, and he hit at least one person. It was a young 21-year-old. So we did have that incident there. In Chicago this week, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, the police in Chicago deployed a bomb squad to downtown Chicago after an anti-ICE rider reportedly entered the sewer system and planted suspicious items. I have not heard any updates on that. ICE was preparing to deploy tactical units to 5 sanctuary cities: Seattle, Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, and Northern Virginia. I did hear of another protest, a No Kings protest in Woodbridge, Virginia, about an hour from me, and it seemed peaceful. My friend was driving through it. It seemed very peaceful. Now, according to Anna Pauline Luna, she states, receiving reports out of New York tonight that 88 Antifa members were arrested. They were from out of state and came to riot. They were not Mexican or Hispanic, and they were waving Mexican flags. She then makes a statement, this is a giant psyop. So we're going to be looking at that. And it's funny because in Florida, I heard that in Hollywood, Florida, not Hollywood, California, Hollywood, Florida, it was canceled or postponed, not postponed, it was canceled or nobody turned out for it. Why? A Florida sheriff warns Democrat protesters that if they throw a brick, launch a bomb, or point a gun at deputies, their families will be told where to collect their remains. And it was recently announced by, I believe, the governor of Florida that the right to plow through a crowd was announced, and that if someone feels their life is in danger, they have a right to plow through a crowd. Come to find out, the Florida protests kind of dwindled away. But we have good news. During this week, the U.S. House votes 224 to 194 to repeal Washington, D.C.'s sanctuary city policies. So 11 Democrats joined all the Republicans in voting yes to repeal, to do away with making Washington, D.C. a sanctuary city. So there's a lot of interesting developments going on. Also, Washington, D.C. passed a law, I believe, that said non-citizens are not allowed to vote. There was a policy where non-citizens could vote in Washington, D.C., a non-citizen, and that has been reversed. So there's a lot going on here. Some of it's good, some of it's just messy. Incognito, good day. Minnesota shootings, evil and tragic. Yes, I saw that there was a Minnesota shooting. Let's see if I could pull that up. Somebody was disguised as an ICE. So ICE is the immigration. They deal with the immigration in the U.S. Somebody was disguised as an ICE agent and would not identify themselves. So they were taken down and were treated as basically as a potential terrorist. I cannot pull up. I apologize. I forgot to save it to my things. But yes, there was definitely, but I think there's something else going on with the Minnesota shootings and tragedies there. So if you have information, go ahead and share it in the chat. There's so much information that goes on. It's hard to keep up. And I think some of us are actually feeling the heaviness and the weight. So take care of yourself. Drink lots of water, rest, take care. I know I've been sick for 2 days with unknown stomach problems, and it's not a virus or a flu. I've just been really, it's like a detox. It's like I was taking some sort of detox pill and on detox shakes. It's been crazy. All right, let's get started. Here. We got a lot. I would like to know from Spirit. Spirit, first, we're going to be doing an invocation of protection. It's also important because I have not been feeling well, and so I want to make sure we connect to Spirit and have protection. And I also want to make sure the information comes out accurate. And thanks to Richard, who says that we should maybe do an invocation, a prayer to announce the to set the space of this. I know last week when I did it was the world news, the shocks, and I pulled on the immigration and we tapped into some of those beings from underground. The energy that stayed with me for about an hour after was really heavy. I had like a backache. So it's because we tapped into some heavy energy. And because we're doing the protests again, I want to make sure that the energy is clear. So join with me. I call upon the presence of Christ's energy, Christ's consciousness, the light of the divine. Call upon Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and all the angels of light that are our guides and spiritual protectors. Protect us in light. We set the space and give us truth and clarity for our best and highest good. It is so. Thank you. Okay. So we did some of the reports. I want to share with you a video. Marisa, sending you healing vibes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is the video by Evangelist Commission, Spirit and Evangelist Commission. And this is I'm going to play this here in a minute. This is the prophecy for Washington, D.C. Okay? And it's a little bit intense, but let's go ahead and listen to this.
I see something. Today is June 10, right? Pray for Washington, D.C. I see double what is happening in California, happening in Washington, D.C., the capital city of America. I see strikes, protest. I see strikes. I see strikes and protest in Washington, D.C., the capital city of America. How many of you are from Washington, D.C. here and you are following? Pray, because I see Washington, D.C. shaken. It's gonna be so dangerous that some people are gonna try to set the White House on fire. Some people are gonna try to set the White House on fire. Some people are gonna plan to set the White House on fire. Some people are gonna try to burn the White House. But I know the people that are behind these things. I can see them. I don't want to say certain things because it's not good for the public. But pray for Washington, D.C. It will get crazy in Washington, D.C. the coming few weeks, the coming few days, the coming few weeks, and the coming few months. Pray for California, because I see California shaken. Washington, D.C. I see Washington, D.C. shaken. I already spoke about California and I told you guys that God was rendering his judgment. I told you that God has backed off from California. People were insulting me when I said that. God has withdrawn his hands from California. Whatever is happening there, God is not in it. He has allowed you guys to do your thing, because you guys have not want to include God in your stuff. So God has decided to step back. The day that you guys want God to step in, you guys will call on his name. So I'm seeing Washington, D.C. becoming the next target. I'm seeing the next target in Washington, D.C. I'm seeing people carrying stones, people carrying knives, and I'm seeing people dying on the street of Washington, D.C. The one of Washington, D.C. is gonna be more brutal. So I see a protest coming in Washington, D.C. very soon. Mark my word, it's gonna happen this year. I'm not talking about next year, this year. DC. So those of you in Washington, DC, share this video. I'll cut this video later and I'll post it. So when I cut this video later about the prophecy for Washington, DC, and I post it, make sure that you share all over DC. All right, tell the people of DC to be careful, because that is how we prophesy. Some people take it as joke until when it comes to pass, and then they realize that it's no more a joke. So please tell Washington, DC, don't join that protest, because it's gonna be a bloody protest. The protest that is gonna be in DC is gonna be bloody. I see people standing in front of the White House, and I see people throwing things at the White House. I'm seeing people throwing things at the White House. And the plan of these people, their real plan is to burn the White House. So I see the White House on fire. I see the White House on fire. I see the White House on fire. I see the White House set ablaze on fire. So please, send the video to President Trump. I know that there's some of you following me. You are very close to President Trump. My goal is I don't care about knowing details about people's lives. My goal is to see what is coming and tell people so that they are careful with their life. All right? So please, this is the prophecy for Washington, D.C. Today is June 10th. June 10th, the date that this prophecy has been released, June 10th. Pray for Washington, D.C. I see shaking. Washington, D.C. shaking. And now it looks like everything is peaceful, but I'm seeing a shaking in Washington, D.C. I'm seeing a major protest in Washington, D.C. And it's gonna be a bloody protest. Don't join that protest, because it's gonna be bloody. And I'm seeing people with the plan of burning the White House. I'm seeing people with the plan of burning the White House. It's gonna be tough. Donald Trump is gonna face tough stuff. You say, are you supporting Donald Trump? I support Jesus. Jesus is my God. I'm not a politician. I'm not in those games. I'm simply telling you guys who are interested in politics and the rest, is the message for you. I am not into political games. I'm not on anybody's side. I am on the side of the Lord. I'm on the side of the Lord alone. All right?
Okay, the dramatic music helped a little bit there. I did see some signs with him that he was actually getting a real vision. You know, when he does this with the forehead, that's a lot of times the energy coming into the chakra there and translating to the brain. So I really did see, and the way he's staring off into space, he's seeing something. I also know that this was the time, June 10th, where all the protests sort of erupted throughout the US. And so this could very well be a potential timeline that he saw, as with any clairvoyant. I also want to be able to say that this was a timeline of trajectory. However, we had something input into Washington, D.C. that might have changed that timeline, and that was America's birthday parade. And that was the Army parade. I watched it last night from my video, and it was tremendous. The troops walking through DC was amazing. So having troops going through DC for a parade might have deterred certain protesters from doing something in these next few days. However, he did say the prophecy was within this year. So we're going to take a look at that. Is the White House in danger of being burned down? Are there going to be attacks made on the White House? Let's take a look at that. Richard says Gene Decode had all kinds of problems with the start of his channel. He came up with an invocation, and you can read it at his site. No problems after that. Okay. Gene Decode. And I'm assuming that's on his website. Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. Thank you for sharing that. We'll have to do that invocation there and to close the space at the end. Okay, Spirit, are we in danger of some of the protests ramping up? We'll look a little bit more who and what is controlling these, but I'd like to ask Spirit for truth and clarity concerning this prophecy about Washington, D.C. Is it in danger of being attacked or being set on fire? And we're also going to look at the UK and Ireland and any other country that you want to look at. Is the White House in danger of being attacked? Getting a lot of cards flipping out. Okay, very interesting. We have the Hierophant card and the card of control, gaining control. This would be possibly the dark elite. The Hierophant usually represents dark elite. We have a type of force, a group of people that are on the move. We have a Queen of Swords. Then we have a Six of Wands, and there's another group of people, and it's victorious. Let me get these that fell out. We have, once again, on the move. And this is some sort of military. We have the Trump card. Then we have the Shock card. So these cards fell out as I was shuffling, and this is telling me President Trump is possibly ramping up military as well as investigations. This is telling me of like the ICE or the investigation units looking into such things as Antifa, conspiracies, terrorism. But we do have a potential attack here with the Tower card, needing military activity. And we asked this about the White House. And so the White House is definitely considered in some of the plans of the deep state. And this stretches to DC. What is this victory card, Spirit? So with this Queen of Swords, I heard the words, the plan was sent out, or it was announced. The documents were sent out. The messages were sent out. It's almost like the intelligence agency within the US has intercepted certain calls to action. But then we have a Six of Wands, which normally the Six of Wands is positive victory. So what is this? But is it just the gathering of people, the riots? It's confusion, it's conflict, and it's struggle. Okay, there are I can't say potential, there are riots planned for Washington, D.C. There are riots planned to gather people to create chaos in Washington, D.C. There are plans. They're in action. Can you give us a time frame, Spirit? Hola, Shana. Three of Pentacles, Three of Swords. This is the backstab, but the betrayal, and this is coming from an independent source. The people who are planning these attacks have their hands washed of it. They're not going to be anywhere near Washington, D.C. The people who are planning to stab America in the heart of its country, in the heart of its, in its heart, I should say, D.C., are planning not to be there. They're going to rouse the rebels to go there. This is not a grassroots protest. This is a plan from an outside source, multiple groups of people. The Moon, corruption, and I'm seeing money. They have the money. The Devil card, geez Louise, and the Wheel of Fortune. They're trying to take back a timeline and put the USA onto a previous timeline of chaos. This is a major, major plan by this dark elite force. Okay, we're not going to tap into that anymore. I believe the White Hats know about it, and the Trump administration has already intercepted something. But I do believe from the energy of these cards that they will need to bring out military troops into DC to dispel this, if it goes as planned. They will end it, and they will make DC into a brand new city, a brand new type of city, a brand new high vibrational, I'm hearing the words rebuild, reallocated. Okay, so we're going to stop there. This is going to shift what the dark side means for evil. God will turn it out for good, because it's going to cleanse some of the energies of DC, allow a lot of people to rebuild and possibly redo. Now, I want to ask Spirit, is the White House going to be set on fire? That's the plan. That's what they want. That is definitely the plan. The offer card, the attempt. It's an attempt. Okay, so is this, we know that this is not a grassroots organization, at least the one in DC. Are there protests throughout the world that are grassroots? Okay, I want to tap into the energy of the protests, excuse me. Are there some grassroots operations of people who really think, okay, we're getting, and let me finish that statement, of people who really think they're doing a good job, okay? They really think they're serving humanity. We're getting a 2 side by side. We're getting a 4 of Swords, and we're getting a blank card. So the question is, yes, this is the 2 operations operating side by side. And I'm hearing the words, in many protests, it's the hidden aspect latches on to the grassroots. So a lot of the protests start off or are seen as grassroots, but then they're hijacked by a secretive agency and the people don't know. We have the blank card. They don't know what's really going on. Okay, so some of the people you see out there are really thinking that they're doing a good job. They think they're serving humanity, but they don't understand they're being hijacked. And the major protests especially are being hijacked by a hidden force. But not everybody out there that you see on the side of the road is Antifa or somebody that's bad. So that's what I want to clarify. Okay, I want to ask who's the point people for some of these plans? Is this Antifa? I'm going to pull 2 cards. Okay, we got a card falling out. Antifa are the leaders. Antifa is the boss agencies. So they're kind of like the people that get involved in the leadership of the grassroots. Is the CCP involved? Yes. The organization from China, CCP, is the CCP involved? And I want to share that because Richard shared with me a really good, and I apologize I haven't been able to get to them all, but Richard shared with me an article about, I believe it was the CCP. Anyway, if you have any more information on that, go ahead and share that with the group if you want to. But it was one that I thought I starred. LA riots go nationwide. Yes, next Saturday. Yes, you sent me some great pictures about the LA riots, the No Kings protest. They're extremely well organized. And the event, anyway, that was one day. I think you sent me another one though. But anyway, somebody sent to me something about the CCP possibly being involved. And then there was some information about the LA riots as well. So I was putting the pieces together. So thank you for when you all send me these. So the leaders of the protests are Antifa, okay? Is the CCP involved? Okay, to a small degree, they're funding it. A lot of the money coming to help support these protests is being channeled. I keep hearing the word insider trading, but it's not that. It's something related to, and I don't want to say this, okay? Take it with a grain of salt, but congressmen and women, U.S. congressmen or leaders across the world have access. Politicians across the world have access to Chinese money. And the image I keep seeing is that they're funneling it to key leaders throughout the protests. And that is what the grassroots people don't see. But are they directly involved in organization? No. Is there money? Yes. Chinese money is involved in funding these grassroots organizations through the leadership of the organizations. All right. Spirit, how involved is the deep state in these? The dark elite. Just a little bit. Yeah, the dark elite as we know it is collapsing just a little bit. We have some actors going in. We have some tell me about the CABAL as we know it, the swamp. We have a leader, Mr. Trump has drained the swamp and stabbed the dark elite in the back. What's left is that trickle of money able to fund it, and it's coming from the CCP. So there's evidence here that a lot of the dark elite cannot do what they wanted to do anymore. The grassroots has to be their only option, and they send in key Antifa or whatever you call it in your country. They send in key leaders to sort of like build it up and to channel in money. Say, oh, I have money from this source. We could do this. And it's coming from politicians and a small group of people that still have access to Chinese funds. Shauna is asking, could it happen in 2025 to 2027? I assume that you're asking about, there might be a delay here. You might be asking about the White House. So go ahead and ask me about the White House. Richard says the Forbidden News TV, Amanda Bruce channel may have been her Substack. Yes, another billionaire from China financing. I apologize. Yes, another billionaire from China financing. Okay, so that's confirming here. See my previous comment. Could it happen? Could it happen in 2025, 2027? Are you talking about the White House burning? Oh, when might the CCP dissolve? Oh, yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and ask. We have the Mr. T card flip out again. They're working on it. But let's get a full reading of what's the state of funds? What's the state of funds? What kind of Spirit's trying to direct me into two ways. Spirit's saying you need to know about their level of involvement and then when it's going to trickle out. Okay? Spirit wants to give us a look at the level of involvement of Chinese money in the U.S. Ooh, we have the Tower card. That's the T word ending in ism. Okay? Tear. Okay? And this is the intelligence agencies, the sleeper cells. So that is still, we have the unseen attacks, the world card, and the Ace of Pentacles. So the money right now is flowing from the CCP into sleeper cells set all across the world, okay? All across the world. I'm seeing Canada here a lot. Canada, USA, seeing Mexico. All right. So there's the attacks come from sleeper cells and people that have been sort of stationed into certain parts of our countries. This is what Mr. T is attempting to undo. And until those sleeper cells are done away with, the money is going to keep trickling in. And there's still a potential for attack. So there's an Ace of Pentacles, which is a new beginning. So Spirit, what can you tell us about, will the CCP's control over countries die in 2025 to 2027? This trickling of funds. Queen of Pentacles, the banks. Wow. Spirit is saying you need a brand new banking system to kill the CCP's power over countries and to be their funnel on money. We need the new financial system. When we get the new financial system in, it will kill the ability of sleeper cells to receive money and to do protests that are not grassroots. Grassroots will still continue, okay? But they're not going to be fueled with the wrong kind of money. Shauna says, YouTube blocked my first question because CCP was written without spaces. My goodness. Lots of sleepers in Montreal and Toronto. And that, I believe, is one of the focuses of many of the white hats, is getting rid of these sleepers. But I also feel that every time there's a protest, I also feel that it shows who the sleepers are just a little bit more. Incognito says, was the Minnesota shooter, headline story, part of a sleeper cell? Okay, while I was reading that, you got the Page of Swords. That's the media. Spirit, was the Minnesota shooter part of a sleeper cell? King of Swords. I'm seeing a weapon. I don't know why. Justice. Legal. Controlled. Three of Cups, party, agreement, a desire. Okay, so the message coming in here is with this first card. This is I don't know how young this person was, the Minnesota shooter, but this is coming in as like, we're not told everything that we're still not, the media wasn't told everything. So we don't have the full story, but I'm really getting some sort of MK Ultra vibes with this control. See how tightly this person was controlled by a third party. All right. And here I have technology and justice, or truth and justice, information and legal work. And then a desire. But with this card, I saw a weapon. So there might have been someone who was targeted, who worked as a judge or in the legal system. And this person was targeted. And this Minnesota shooter was after somebody in the legal system. I'm not getting an independent vibe that he was angry, he was upset. I'm really getting an independent vibe that he was told it from a third party and he was doing what he was told. And I'm also getting some sort of drug. I'm getting some sort of drug. I'm getting some sort of inoculation of some sort. I wouldn't be surprised if this was, yes, to a sleeper cell, but it's only activated on command, and there's some sort of mechanism involved. He's not under his full mind. He's not all there, and it could be because he's drugged. Okay. And the plan was to take out someone in the legal system. Incognito says, I think the shooter worked for Tim Walz at some point. He was dressed as a cop. Yeah, he was dressed as an ICE agent, which shows this isn't somebody who is anti-ICE, because they would never dress as ICE. This is somebody who had an agenda, or coming from people who had an agenda. And I could be wrong, but this could be someone coming from the legal system of Minnesota. That was the agenda, gave them a weapon. That energy is coming in a little bit stronger. Somebody in the legal system, justice system, worked with this young fellow to actually do something. So it's going either way, but I'm feeling stronger energy that it wasn't just after somebody. It's the ones who orchestrated this are from high up in Minnesota. So take that as it resonates. We'll see what happens there. But there's definitely a lot of energy coming in over this secret person that put this up, this group of people. Shauna says, is this what Trump is working on? Is a new treasury bond part of this, and is cryptocurrency rise part of this plan to cut off China's financial influence too? Woo! Queen of Swords. Okay, you got some truth to that, Shauna. You got some truth. Let's get a full clarity. What is the plan of Trump with the financial system? Is this the plan? We have the banks coming in, falling out, the banks. Is crypto involved? We have a secret plan here. Much bounty and abundance. Okay, now give me a full spread. Talk to me about this. Thank you. Six of Wands, death. Okay, this is an ending to the protests. This is how we want to end the protests. Okay, Six of Wands are coming up as people protesting. A lot of energy. How do we destroy the protests? Here it is. Six of Pentacles, balance the financial system. Come together with multiple currencies. I can't make this up, y'all. And it will destroy the head of the snake. Destroy the head of, absolutely, Shauna. Timeline shift. Justice, legal, fair, balanced. Yes, this is one, and this could be one reason why they're fighting so hard. Absolutely. 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 The financial system is going to change the ability to manipulate grassroots protests. Richard says, ask about the burning of factories and discontent from workers not getting paid in China. Will this go anywhere? Spirit, what can you tell us about the factory workers and the people in China? You have to wonder what their ascended people are doing there. If they have underground media channels where they share information like we had during COVID. Spirit, what can you tell us about the workers in China not getting paid? 2 of Cups, 9 of Wands. This is a very unfamiliar energy. I heard the word, some are getting paid, some aren't. Some are protected and some aren't. The Fool card, something new is coming into China. And this is something having to do with, my God, this is a financial system. This is a more balanced financial system coming in. And the system is glitching. And some are getting paid and some are not. Yeah, there's a lot of regret. I'm hearing the words, they're moving too fast. There's a lot of sadness, grief, regret. 5 of Swords, conflict. I'm hearing the word CCP, conflict. China. I think that President Xi is trying to bring in changes, but the other party is resisting so much that there's glitches happening in the system and the people aren't happy. And it's helping to wake people up. They've lost a lot of money. Yeah, but it has to do with a conflicting of parties, a conflicting of 2 types of parties, and the systems are not working together. That was very, very interesting. Shauna says, is this the month or July that Trump makes a big announcement regarding devalued old treasuries? Is it true that holders will be offered 20 cents on the dollar? Spirit, what can you tell us about this big announcement regarding old currencies, and will holders be offered 20 cents on the dollar? Talk to me about President Trump's plan. It's been a plan for a long time. So you got a small yes, but there's more. A yes, but there's more. There's an ending, the death card. There's 6 of Pentacles and lack of money. Okay, 6 and 5. So this is the previous lack of money where people haven't been able to have certain money. We're getting a death card. So something needs to die in that area. We have some grief coming in. But the card that flipped out was the Sun card, okay? The Sun card is the golden age card of abundance, the new financial system. So will the old treasuries be devalued? I'm hearing the words, they already are, all right? Which we know that. They already are. They've been devalued for a long time. Now, will there be an announcement concerning it? We have the 9 of Wands and the 5 of Wands and the 7 of Pentacles. I'm not getting an announcement, but I'm getting some sort of activity. This could be the U.S. Treasury, it's not coming from Mr. Trump, is what I'm saying. It's some sort of balance coming in, the plan. The plan is coming in to balance it through a media announcement, but it's not going to be coming from Mr. Trump. It's going to be coming from someone lesser in his organization, and this could be the newest commissioner to the IRS, who the Democrats are very upset, which there was a Democrat congresswoman who was very upset because the new commissioner just put in, I believe last week, is in favor of abolishing the IRS. What? He's in favor of abolishing it. He's in favor, I believe, of the tariffs. He's in favor of transforming a lot of the IRS, making it very different. So this is the new commissioner. So there's something about investments coming in, people who've invested in money, and then somebody who's announcing it from a lesser scale than Mr. Trump. But there is an announcement coming. I don't think it's going to be earth-shaking. I think it's going to be a smooth transition, though. Oh, and let me ask if the holders will be offered 20 cents on the dollar. So we're getting something's hidden that we can't see. The real truth, I don't think. The real truth, if we were told that, there's something more to the story. There's something more. We're getting the bank system. We're getting the financial system. We're getting the Emperor card. That's a 4. I got 2 4s and a 5, a 3. Something's being expanded. I don't feel an exact prediction coming in here. But I'm going to be a little bit weird and say it could be more than that. I'm not sure why, but something about expansion. It's either going to be expanded and be more money, or it's going to be moved into some other kind of situation that produces a profit. So I'm not sure what that means. I apologize, y'all. I haven't been feeling well this week. And so it's a little bit, take everything I say today with a grain of salt. Take everything I say today with a grain of salt. All right, we have about 10 more minutes to go. All right, Spirit, I'm going to get to some of your questions here. Incognito wants to know about the Iran-Israel war. So tomorrow at noon, everyone, I am going to be doing a special live, a quick poll on the Iran and Israeli conflict. It's going to be Monday at noon Eastern time. I felt like I just wanted to do a quick pull on that and focus on that energy. I'm kind of curious as well. Do we need to manifest? Do we need to manifest peace? Do we need to be making this a focus, or is this just a little blip in the timeline? So I'll pull on that tomorrow. Japan, China, and the UK hold most treasury bonds at this time. Oh, that was that expansion, international, because that card can mean international things. So it's very, very interesting. I think I missed a comment here. How will Americans and the U.S. economy react? Is Trump waiting for an event abroad to happen before this announcement, or is it set no longer to happen? There is an announcement set to happen. I don't think they want it to be too big, but let's ask Spirit. What can you tell us about how will it affect Americans? So you have 2 cards of cutting off conflict, okay? This is going to destroy a lot of verbal conflict, media conflict. This is going to destroy the narrative, is what I should say. This is going to destroy the narrative, okay? It is still planned, Queen of Wands. They don't quite know when yet. They have to make sure the people are ready. And this announcement of the devaluation of currency and how to proceed from there is being carefully guarded by, I'm hearing the words, like, I saw the people of the cosmos, the white hats, but I saw the people of the people who got the divine blueprint from possible galactics to do the Q agenda. Now, if you know what Q is, it's basically a massive psyop to awaken people, to get people to ask questions. The Q movement. And I'm seeing the Q movement getting a divine plan by some sort of angelic galactics, higher vibrational people. That is part of the plan. And it's going to cut off and change the narrative and the media narrative. And the media is going to have a major upset because something about them, I don't know, something about the media, the people, and how it affects the not the economies, but the ordinary, everyday citizen of our countries. It's gonna change a lot, and it's definitely in the plans. Powell. Okay, yes, I do believe Powell might be resigning. I believe you shared that with me. Oh, I see. Maybe we're going to get a big official announcement about a crypto reserve. Yeah, something on a lesser scale that helps the world shift easier. Ask if Israel was used to take out the bad factions in Iran, which greatly helps the people of Iran, and is using Israel, which is now under white hat control, to play a narrative that helps. So I'm screenshotting this, Richard, and I'm going to take your question tomorrow. Yes. Yeah, because when we get started into Israel and Iran, there's no stopping. So if you can't join me live at noon Eastern time, no problem. It will be a replay there as well. But I thought it would be fun just to do Israel and Iran. Okay, now I promised different people that I would pull in the UK and Ireland. I want to see if there's anyone in danger, or is this going to possibly trickle out for these countries? Let's get messages for the UK. What are the protests looking like in the UK? Three of Swords, not good. Stab in the back, a lot of conflict. Okay, but interesting, we have some financial stability, some finances, some money trickling in, and then a Six of Swords, leaving. So this is what's happening, is that, and then a massive change of fortune for the UK. The UK is not as strongly connected to money in the ability to fund their protests. Okay, I believe something's going on with Prince William. Every time I pull in the UK, I see like there's something undergoing in the financial department, and I know the UK can't see it. I know that some of them are frustrated with the way it's going, but I believe that some of the protests are falling flat. Some people are refusing to participate. Some of them are getting arrested, deported, or some sort of activity that's not going the way they want. For the future, for the UK protests, there's some massive change coming in. Something secret and hidden, and a tower moment, and I hear the words collapse to their narrative. There's some major shaking coming, and it's divinely orchestrated. Divine turning of events that's going to shock the UK, and it's going to reveal some major lies, major manipulation that's happening in that country. Hidden underground investments, stolen money, lack of money, and fake actors. So the UK, especially England, is getting ready for some massive upsets in regard to politicians and secret organizations that have been funneling their money. And I believe these protests are triggering those investigations. Major changes for the UK. All right, now for Ireland. Spirit, what can you tell us about Ireland? How can you share? What can we share with the people of Ireland? We have these two cards that fell out. A desire and a wish and a desire for media control. Then we have the Justice card. 10 of the people, and something hidden that they cannot see. A lot of people are involved in Ireland, and I believe the people in Ireland have really good intentions. They're upset about something. They want justice. They want fairness. The Death card, the Judgment card, The Two of Wands. So it seems like the media wants, or the messages coming through the media is that that's what they're protesting about is deportations. They're not. The Irish protests, they want a better country. They just want a better country. And the people, this is more grassroots than anything, the people are actually protesting a lot more than anything like deportation. There's something we're not being told, something deeply hidden. The people of Ireland, they're ready for a tremendous nationwide transition. They're ready for an up-leveling and an upgrade, and they want to start taking steps toward that direction. They're getting very, very demanding for change for their country. And this is actually a very positive energy. It is mixed with a lot of confusion, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. But what we're being told in the North America realm, that these are protests about this, no, they're not the same kind of protests. They're not the same kind of protests. Okay, God bless Ireland and the people. May they find peace. All right, let me read some of your comments. Is there going to be a surprise crackdown on crypto, money laundering? Shauna says might be related to these protests too. Shauna says, I also heard from another psychic that Carney wants to ban crypto in Canada for this reason. Can you pull some cards on this question? Obviously, a big concern for crypto holders. Yes, let me ask that really quick and we'll end here. We'll end with these two questions about crypto because I do feel that these protests are connected to the fear or the dark elite, even astral beings being afraid of a Nasera Jacera. Okay, now allegedly 9/11 happened in the US, the Twin Towers were collapsed right when there were plans to announce a golden age or a Nasera or Jacera within the US. The protests came right before we had a 2020 election. The protests always come through before something major is about to be announced or released or happening. So my question is, why are these protests happening now? And why are they being fueled now? All right, is there going to be a big surprise crackdown on crypto? And every time I ask Spirit, what's happening in June? Financial shifts. And I'm like, well, we're having war in Iran and we're having, protests across the country. Where's the financial shift? There's your King of Pentacles. There's your King of Pentacles. That's your King of Money. What's happening in the financial sector that we aren't being told? Look here, not there. So is there something coming to crypto? A big surprise coming to the crypto market. Okay, so in the past energy, you have the crypto being suppressed. In the present energy, you have it being manipulated. And then you also have backstabbing, but good news, a major change to the backstabbing, manipulative control over crypto. We have in the future 6 of Pentacles. The 6 of Pentacles is balance. This is the dark elite. Is this a revelation though, or simply a shift? Because right now I just see a shift. I just see everything that's been suppressing true, honest crypto I see it being released. But I'm not seeing an announcement. Spirit, is there going to be an announcement or is it going to happen smoothly? King of Cups, the Empress card, Ace of Swords. There are going to be announcements. There are going to be announcements of the manipulation. The King of Cups can be manipulative. And it's going to be manipulation, especially of the metals. Anything that's asset-backed or metal-backed, but then also of the crypto as well. We have the digital currency there. So yes, that is still the plan. But I'm getting more in July. I think these protests put the timeline back a little bit. Yeah. And is Carney will he be successful in banning crypto in Canada? The card that fell out is the Lover's card. That's the choice of the people. That's politics, justice, legal action. Spirit, what can you tell me about Carney banning crypto in Canada? Will he? There will be an attempt to control it by a group of people. But you have some celebration here. You have some banks getting involved, and I don't think it's going to last. Let me get clarity, because something's leaving. Something's leaving. I want to make sure it's not crypto. What's leaving? Queen of Cups, the Six of Cups, and the High Priestess. The High Priestess usually comes in as silver, XLM. So I'm going to say there might be some cryptos banned in Canada to start with. Some attempts to ban, some slow movement to ban some cryptos. I'm not getting a complete shutdown, a complete ending, a get your money out, everything's falling, but something's leaving. So I definitely ask me again for confirmation on another live. Ask me that question again, because there's just a lot of energy here, and I want to get a further clarification. But I do feel that there will be some cryptos banned, especially XLM. Something related to silver, related to anything that might turn out really big for investors. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. There will be an attempt to do that. But I'm not getting a heavy end all. Okay, everyone, I am going to be making me a cup of tea, maybe getting some headache medicine. And I'm going to be doing at 12:15 here in just a few minutes, the Ascension Update Clairvoyance for the End Times. If you're a member and wish to join me, go ahead and find me there on the link below. You can also find me at www.violetflame.net. And there is the link down there. Click the Global Shift Forecast. Thank you for joining me, for putting up with all my mistakes. Marie says, too bad Carney's not leaving. Listen, I'm not really qualified right now to give a full prediction on that, but something's leaving. There's some sort of control of multiple cryptos, and then something's leaving. And I'm not getting the energy of, watch out, da-da-da-da, everything's going to collapse crypto-wise in Canada. I'm not getting that energy, so that's good. There might be an attempt on something related to silver, XLM, and CERT. I'm seeing near, and I'm seeing protocol. But take that as it resonates. Those are two cryptos. I don't know if those might be regulated, so. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me. For those of you that are members, I will see you next on the Rumble link. And for those of you that wish to join me for the Iran and Israeli conflict, I will see you tomorrow at noon Eastern time, and I will see you there. Please like, subscribe, put some comments down there. Let YouTube know that you enjoyed my videos. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate, yes. Joe says, very curious about this Iran-Israel conflict reading tomorrow. Me too. Me too. That came out of the blue. June. Everything hit in June. Woo! All right.